Nim Gholkar empowers women. Welcome.
Thank you, Karen.
Tell us what you actually do.
Well, I wear a few hats. I currently work full-time in pharmaceutical sales, but my passion is writing and empowering women. So I write fiction as well as non-fiction, and I'm passionate about getting women to find their real life purpose and lead a life of fulfillment.
So, how do you help these women to lead this life of fulfillment?
Well, my pet project, which is coming up in early January 2017, is what I like to call a self-discovery voyage to India. This is because I've met lots of women who want to go to India, but for several reasons, such as they don't want to travel alone, they're not sure if it's safe to travel by oneself, have stopped themselves from exploring new cultures. So what I thought was put together a group of like-minded women, take them with me to India, and have sort of a bit of, spiritual awakening, as well as a bit of Bollywood, and just a fun journey where they can sort of explore parts of themselves they didn't even know existed.
That sounds fantastic, and I know quite a few women that might be queuing up for this trip.
I know a few myself.
So what drives you, Nim?
Well, what drives me, I would say, is really helping as many women as possible. I'm on a personal mission at the moment where I want to help as many women globally to really have a voice, because I've met so many and I think they're immensely talented, but they don't believe they are. So what I'd like to do is see more women actually dig deep within and find their real purpose, the sort of life they were born for.
I believe this is just a wonderful thing that you're doing. So, what made you so passionate?
I was recently in India. I was in a bookshop, and I was looking at sort of self-development books for women. That's the next book I'm writing at the moment. And there was a shop assistant. She came up to me and she said, "If you're an author, why don't you write a book that empowers women?" I said, "That's a very sort of generic term. So what would you like in a book that empowers women?" She said, "Just teach them to have self-esteem and self-confidence." And I thought, you know what? That's just up my alley. So on the flight back to Sydney, I actually started writing it, and it's nearly finished now.
Oh my goodness, how many thousands of words is that?
This one is actually a lot shorter than my first book. So it's nearly half the size. It's about 30,000 words. Nearly done, so fingers crossed, hopefully it gets launched late this year.
So, your debut book, what is your debut book?
My debut novel is called Diary of an Immigrant Bride. It's a fiction novel. It's based on the life of a young girl who comes from India after an arranged marriage and then explores a love story that evolves once she's here in Australia.
You have a fascinating story, and I love learning more about you. And you do have many, many hats on. How do you keep going with all these hats?
Well, my children and my husband are aware of what happens when I'm, too many hats up in the air. So, the occasional mommy has a tantrum sort of scenarios, but everyone's learning, that when mom's in her creative zone, she's best left alone. So, yeah, that's just how I do it.
Your grandmother will be so proud of you.
I hope so. I hope so.
So she was a writer.
Yes, she was. She wrote in Marathi, which is one of the Indian languages. I grew up watching her write, and I'm really inspired by, how she went about her literary career.
Nim, I know so many women who will want to find out more about your self-discovery journey to India. How do they find you?
Well, I think the best way to go about that would be to visit my website, which is nimsniche.com. And there's a contact section there with my email address. Just drop me a line and I'll get back to them straight away.
I'll definitely be doing that. So thank you for coming to speak with me.
Thank you.